do it. Hard times, but you're gonna get through it. I promise you, cause I've been there. Got up and I put my mind to it. They told me no, but I told them yes. And I used to feel all alone, so depressed, but I fought back, now I smile again. If I ever fail, I'ma just try again. And I felt pain that I thought it'd never end, but I prayed long and I played my cards. Then the stars aligned, cause I worked hard. Then God went and threw me a curveball. I still swung, hit a home run, and look fear in the face, I don't run. I seen that, but I'm still blessed. I come from a world of no love. I'm hustling off of my family, but I never had nothing handed me. People done shit to me you can't believe. Back in high school, bitches would laugh at me. Now they're hitting me up, saying what's up. Do you remember me? I'm tryna fuck. Nah.
Welcome back, animators. It's your boy James, and today I decided we're gonna start off our Yu Yu Hakusho series with our boy, the one and only Hiei of the Jagan. Now, with that being said, we all love the bad boy anti-hero type person that comes up in anime. You know, you have a lot of them, but one of the biggest, similarities is Hiei and Vegeta, because they all both started out as villains. And they were supposed to be the main bad guy. However, they were so popular with the people of the anime series that they became, partners of the main protagonist. Vegeta with Goku, Hiei with Yusuke, and things of that nature. So, with that being said, today we're going to break down his back history, his mom, his sisters, where he came from, how he got the Jagan, which is called the evil eye, his third eye, and some of his more potent abilities. So with that being said, let's dive right in to what is Hiei of the Jagan. So Hiei is not really an easygoing person, but more like just a serious person. So his mentality is that of, if I have a job to do, I'm going to do it. Which is one of the reasons why he was enlisted to help Yusuke along with Kurama on his spirit detective activities. Hiei also has a certain pride and code of honor that he will not reject for anything. Like, if you're on his team, then he will not double cross you. Like, you have an ally. Now, after that, comrade, whatever mission you're going on is over, all bets are off. So, with that being said, Hiei is not really an ignorant guy, but he is always out for what's best for him. He's not going to stick around if he's not going to get anything out of it, or if he is forced into doing something, which is really hard to do because you can't really force Hiei to do anything. Now, as far as his history-wise, Hiei was born a fire demon into an ice maiden community. And they have no males in this community because all the ice maidens reproduce asexually, meaning by themselves. And the only way that an ice maiden can end up pregnant and have a boy child is if she has, intercourse with another male. With this being said, Hiei's mom, Hina, had, relations with a male fire demon. And that's how Hiei was born. But Hiei is also a twin, so, he has a sister. And, when ice maidens are pregnant and they give birth, they always cry tears for their children, and each tear is given to the child, always. So both Hiei and Yukina was gifted with a tear from, Hina, but because the ice maidens knew what Hina did, because, he is a boy and all of that, they labeled him an Imiko, something like that. Either way, it means cursed child, and they enlisted Hina's best friend to throw Hiei off of the cliff into a waterfall. Now, she did this even though she didn't want to, but was made to by the village elder. But during this fall, Hiei didn't die. He survived and washed up on shore to some bandits who, raised Hiei. But because Hiei was so bloodthirsty and always looking for the next battle, they grew weary of him always coming back beaten and bloody and hearing rumors of how he killed this demon and that demon. So they basically rejected him just like, his home village did. So with that being said, Hiei left. He was once again alone in the world. So, however, he did still have his mother's tear, and he was still, because it's so valuable, because, it was an ice maiden's tear, other demons would always try to attack Hiei to get the tear. And this didn't bother Hiei because he'd always like to fight. So he always wore it out in plain sight. Now, with this being said, Hiei was born with the power of an A-class demon, meaning he was one of the strongest demons in any of the parts at the time, if you don't count S-class demons. So, It really wasn't an issue, but on one battle, Hiei was being forced into a corner. However, Hiei did win the battle, but at the cost of losing his, his mother's tear at the time. And at that point in time, he realized how much that tear meant to him. So, he went to Shigure, the demon surgeon, to get the Jagan implanted in his forehead. Jagan just means evil eye. That would give him the ability to find his tear in his hometown so that he could destroy his hometown. So, the procedure went through. However, it drained his energy from A class to D class, making Hiei significantly weaker than when he first started. They said eventually he would get his powers back, but it would be a long time. So Hiei was like, screw it. So Shigure was like, I'll teach you the right way to swing a sword so that when you leave here, your implant won't be for nothing. Because if you just leave here now, you will most certainly die because you're weak now. So Hiei was like, I'll steal your sword techniques and use them, whatever, and improve on them, which he did. So after the Jagan was implanted and fully awoken, Hiei found the ice village in about 2 or 3 days. And when he went there, he met up with his not really met up, but he met his mother's best friend, the one who threw him off of the cliff. She didn't know who he was talking to, but when he started asking her questions about his mom, she finally realized. And when he was walking away, she was like, please kill me to pay for what I did to you. I threw you off a cliff. You were just a baby. And he was like, no, your cold hearts, you've already killed yourselves. But during talking with her, he did realize he had a twin sister, so that was his next job to do. He went out to go look for her. Eventually, after all that time of trying to look for her and finding his mom's tear, his searches led him to human world. But eventually his sister was there, but at this point in time, instead of running into her, he found the spirit fox Kurama, and he enlisted the help of Kurama and Goku to help steal valuable items from King Yama's vault. And that's when he met Yusuke. Him and Yusuke had their fight, and then Yusuke won by, shooting his spirit gun off of a glass mirror that he wasn't really sure was going to work, but that's how he beat Hiei, So eventually Hiei was captured. Well, Yusuke captured him, and then Spirit World told Hiei and Kurama to help Yusuke on his, spirit detective activities, and they was like, fine, so we could stay out of jail and stuff like that. So that's kind of how Hiei met up with, Yusuke, and how he got involved in other things of that nature. Now, let's move on to some of Hiei's primary abilities. One thing that Hiei is well known for is his speed, like almost above all else. So Hiei is the fastest, if not one of the fastest people in the whole Yu Yu Hakusho franchise, and this is touched on a lot during the anime and the manga. So you can tell that when people compare speed to other people, they're usually comparing it to Hiei. Hiei has in 16 or 18 cut slash that became done in like 2 or 3 seconds. And he's like, even in video games, they've hinted at this as well. And the only person who can really keep up with Hiei at the start of the Dark Tournament is Yusuke, because Yusuke trained under Genkai, but that's a whole nother video. Feel me? So with that being said, another one of Hiei's abilities is that he can manipulate and kind of control fire. Like one of his abilities is called the Fist of the Mortal Flame. He pulls flames from human world and wraps them around his hands and basically pummels you to death. Though not as strong as his demon flames, these are very effective on mid and low class demons. So with that being said, I'm sure everybody, knows that he is a master swordsman. And so after leaving Shigure, he improved on his techniques and became such a good master that his, sword skills are top tier. So another one of his special abilities that I'm pretty sure everybody knows if you watch any part of Yu Yu Hakusho is the Dragon of the Darkness Flame. Now this is a technique that hundreds of masters have always tried to master and no one has ever succeeded. But if you ask, different opinions, people have different reasons of why he had mastered this technique. Because, the first time he tried to use it, it took, it burned his whole right arm and right hand. He could barely use that hand for the rest of the, the Dark Tournament. But eventually, after, beating his own hand and torturing his own hand and, trying to master it, at the end of every Dark Tournament, he did master this technique. And there are 2 ways that, well, not really two definitions of why he mastered it. The first is that, it's because no one has tracked the the dragon from inside of themselves. Yusuke basically absorbed, not say Yusuke crap, Hiei basically absorbed the darkness dragon when it was turned upon him and trapped it inside of himself and became one with the dragon. I think that was like Kurama's interpretation of it. He became the dragon because he absorbed it, and now he's in full control of the dragon, and that's why, he can control the dragon now. Now, what Hiei said in the anime was like, no one had the abandon to like freely, jump into the abyss that is the dragon or something like that. I haven't watched it in like a few. I probably need to go back and watch it because I've read the manga and I've seen the anime. I did some research before, doing this video about how I read it and go back and watch the specific scene itself. Even though it's one of my favorite fights, him against Bui. But it's kind of like the same thing, just interpreted differently. But like, it's kind of complicated because like, they say that a lot of masters have tried to master this technique but couldn't. And basically, from his interpretation, I think it's just because he's crazy and he has an affinity for fire. That's one of the reasons why maybe I think it was easier for him. But still, I'm not taking nothing away from the fact that it takes a great deal of mental and physical capacity to even think about trapping a demon inside of yourself. A demon dragon inside of yourself. So, with that being said, as far as his relationships go, his best friend is Kurama. It really doesn't show much backstory between them besides the fact when he found Kurama in the human world. I guess that shows much for his intelligence because, nobody else could find Kurama after he left for over like 15, 16 years. And he was the one who found him and realized immediately who he was. And knew that he would still be a great asset in breaking the King Yama's vault. Now, with him and Yusuke, it's more of a respect thing. Yusuke has beaten him multiple times, and he has grew to respect him and his power and actually rely on it. Even at the beginning of the Dark Tournament, he was like, the only people who would need to win this tournament is me and Yusuke. So with that being said, you can tell how much he respects Yusuke's power and his drive, and how much he counts on, Yusuke if something should happen to him. He's like, nobody else is needed. This is a 5-man team, but we're only going to need 2 of us. And he didn't even include Kurama, which I thought was really, really weird. Then is how he respects Kurama, a lot. So I was like, okay, so, he must really have, an eye, it's a joke, for, Yusuke's power. Maybe he saw something that other people couldn't. I don't know, but that was just my interpretation. With Kuwabara, it's more of a one-sided rivalry where Hiei ignores him, and then, Kuwabara is always thinking that him and Hiei are a match for each other, and always trying to, provoke Hiei, and which is really interesting because Kuwabara is in love with Hiei's sister Yukina, but Kuwabara is the only person who doesn't know that Yukina and Hiei are siblings. The 2 people that can't stand each other both have extreme love for someone that they both generally care about. Like, it's right in the middle of both of them. You feel me? Now, when it comes to Hiei's sister Yukina, it's kind of complicated because Hiei refuses to tell Yukina that he is her brother, even though he knows that she is looking for her twin brother. He refuses. He says it's because he's a felon and he's a demon who has to become who has to have been captured multiple times, even by Yusuke itself. He said she'd be better off without knowing that she has a convict for a brother. Okay, completely understand. But then if you go back to Hiei's history, it was one of his stipulations. Shigoro was like, if I give you the Jagan Eye and you find your sister, you can never tell her that you're your brother, that you are her brother. And he was like, I didn't want to tell her anyway, or whatever. And then eventually, when Hiei fights Shigoro at the very end of the season, of the last season, Shigoro was like, if you beat me, then I'll rescind my offer and let you tell her. And he is like, I didn't want to tell her anyway. So, but he almost killed a human for torturing his sister, which is really weird because, like, it's weird, but it's not weird. It's weird because you would expect Hiei to, want to tell her because he's always there protecting her. And he almost killed somebody over her, and almost went back to, demon jail for it. But then you really don't feel as though, you know, there's something wrong with that, because you know he has mentality just like I'm do what I want, and nobody's gonna make him tell his sister anything. So, you know, you can't make somebody with a dragon tell you, know, do anything you want. You feel me? You can't just say, hey, you tell your sister I'm gonna get mad. I'm like, well, I got a dragon, I can kill you. You're like, well, you know what? Never mind. So, there you go. So, I know this has been kind of brief, but I didn't really want to, like, spoil too much of it. Just know that Hiei is one of my favorite characters in Yu Yu Hakusho, just because of his mentality and how he's like the dark person, like the anti-villain, kind of like Vegeta. He started off as a bad guy, but he was so popular with the community, he came back to, you know, fight on the good side, kind of like Vegeta did with Goku. And they have a lot of comparisons between the two. But with that being said, how'd you guys like my new intro? I just made it and I really worked hard on it, so please share your thoughts and let me know what you think about it. Also, comment down below what you think of Hiei and who's your favorite Yu Yu Hakusho character and who you think I should do next. And I will definitely get back to you guys. And AniMaster out.
Tell you you can't do it, hard times but you're gonna get through it. I promise you, cause I've been there, got up and I put my mind to it. They told me no, but I told them yes, and I used to feel all alone, so depressed, but I fought back, now I smile again. If I ever fail, I'ma just try again. And I felt pain that I thought would never end, but I prayed long and I played my cards, then the stars aligned cause I worked hard. Then God went and threw me a curveball, I still swung, hit a home run. I look fear in the face, I don't run. I seen that, but I'm still blessed. I come from a world of no love, I'm hustling off of my family, boy I never had nothing handed me. People done shit to me you can't believe. Back in high school, bitches would laugh at me, now they're hitting me up, saying what's up, do you remember me? I'm trying to fuck, nah, I don't fuck with you. If the struggle hard, gotta hustle harder. Put me in the game, I'm the fucking starter. I'm the man in my city like Peter Parker. My only role model is my mama and father. I'ma pay their bills, stack that bread. So much damn shit going on in my head. Used to think that I'd be better up there, then I realized every day is a blessing.